Okay, so I got this question a while ago, but I was away on holiday, so I figured I would answer it just now. So if you watched that video and if you go back into my other videos, you see I have a continuous provision wall. So continuous provision is all about making learners actively participate in the classroom and doing things that are a bit more creative, that have a bit more of an open-ended approach to them. And again, it stems from play pedagogy, so you don't need to be a play pedagogy classroom to use it, but it does allow that sort of creative side to come out. Now, some people use this in different ways. Some people use it as a soft start in the morning, which I occasionally do. But the way I use it most often is when we do play pedagogy on 1 day a week, so they can use that as inspiration if they want, but they do get to just generally play on those days. But I use it as fast finishers. So the idea is that these tasks should be creative and open-ended and also child-led. So at the start of the week we will maybe pick a couple of topics to focus on. So we might have a sort of STEM approach, we might have an artistic approach, we might have a mathematical approach, we might have a literacy-based approach. It just depends what they choose. And usually involves some sort of challenge or task, but again open-ended, that the children can do. So for example, we might do a question based on ocean animals, and children can research their favourite ocean animals and create a presentation or a poster or a project on that animal, however they would like to. Or for example, for an art task, my children are a little bit older, so I might put out a ton of different art resources and ask them to create something in the style of Picasso. Or if we say wanted to do more of a building challenge, a STEM challenge, we might just put out a bunch of blocks, a bunch of building materials, or even just a bunch of paper and ask them to build a bridge that could hold a certain amount of weight. It's all about them using their creative skills and taking on the challenge as they would see fit. It's an amazing way to promote higher order thinking skills and independence in the classroom. Plus, it also saves you having to think of a whole bunch of fast finishers every single day. Because I am of the opinion that sometimes when they are done their maths task or their literacy task or whatever task we're doing, the last thing they want to do is more of that same task, especially when you want to assess it first and see where they're at. So continuous provision works perfectly for that. I also always have next to it my maths challenge QR code, which takes you to a Padlet, and on that Padlet is just loads of links to different games, and they're all organised into the topics we've covered. So if they opt to do something, say they want to work more on place value, they can scan that and they can go to the Padlet and they can choose a place value game to go play, or say they need to improve their times tables and that's what they choose to do, they can also do that. So there are options there as well, but most of the time continuous provision is chosen, and honestly they are so creative. You would be mega impressed with what these kids come up with, because it blows my mind every single day.